It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar. We're Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the Miami cam on. Miami cam. I can't help but think that some of these fish just kind of sit there and pose for the camera. I was just looking at it, and like a couple of them are just sitting there just posing. And actually, that looks like one that I have in my fish tank here. Lots of cool little tropical fishes down in this little Miami cam. And again, this is a local cam for my local peeps out there. It's called Coral City Cam. It's Miami's underwater live stream. And I find this as entertaining to watch as, where is my other little cam here? I'll show you my different cams in the morning, by the way. City of Deerfield Beach. There it is right there. There is my live underwater cam that I use. Oh wow, pretty active out there too. Water clarity is not as good, but God, these are so relaxing. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, you can turn them on. This one's actually got a microphone under the water. That's pretty cool. Well, here I'm not here to talk about cams and live cams, and I'm really not here to talk about politics either. But you can't help but feel this is true. I'm neither red nor blue, a left or right party. I'm kind of an independent libertarian type, but man, when I watch what's going on, especially with CDC guidelines, making sure that small landlords are definitely going to go broke. God, there's so much bad stuff going out there, and they really are just tearing up that document right there. That's just my opinion. And it's not just only one side that's doing it. Well, it is kind of right now, but it takes two to tango in this deal. No less, let's move on to spot prices here. And what do we got going on? Let's see. High of 1815 and a low of 1809, and we're currently sitting at 1812.38. It's sideways. We're hanging in that 18 range. Wouldn't surprise me to see it at some point. Maybe even tomorrow. Maybe it's Monkey Hammer Friday tomorrow or Monday. If you're waiting to buy the dips here, I think tomorrow, Friday, or Monday is a possibility, especially how it's been kind of trending downward just a tad. But with these really weird spikes, as most of you have noticed as well. Silver, same thing. I don't think it's going to hit much below 25 if it does, but it's a possibility. It provides a good buying opportunity. But like gold staying below 1800 for long and silver staying below 25 for long, it's not going to happen. It won't stay there for long. Just provides a good opportunity to buy the frickin' dip. 25.34 is the low, 25.53 is the high. Move over to platinum. Jeez, man, look at that. What is going on with platinum? 1,000. That's a steal, man. I'm telling you, 1,018 platinum. That's just crazy, crazy. So 1,009 a low, 1,027 high. Platinum is just way. I should try to find a platinum to gold ratio to see what that's running like. That's been out of whack for years. But no less, that's insane. 1,018 platinum. There's something weird going on with the platinum metal group. I'm not quite sure what it is. Again, great opportunity to buy platinum right now. I'd say that's the best deal out there. Holy smokes. I didn't even notice that till this morning. It got whacked. So, again, provides a good opportunity to buy the dips. And as I have always said, if you don't listen to my videos, that, $1,800 gold is cheap. $2,000 gold is cheap. $30 silver is cheap. $1,200–1,300 platinum is cheap, super cheap. There's going to be a day, and it won't be too far off in the future, I think, that you're going to look back at $2,000 silver, and I know it's less than that now, $30 silver, $35 silver, platinum at $1,200–1,300. You're going to look back at that and goes, gosh, you remember when that was like that? It's going to be like the days of $3 silver, $7 silver, $10 silver, $12 silver, $15 silver. Those are in the days of the past. You're never going to see them again. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to see them again. Maybe a paper trade if the whole world collapses, which is a possibility, and we've talked about that before. But you're just not going to see prices at that level. Same thing with gold. You're just not going to see sub $1,000 gold ever again, unless they revalue the currency or something like that. And again, well, I shouldn't say that. When the 2008 like implosion occurs again, and it will, as I have said repeatedly, and a lot of people way smarter than me talk about all the time, is that it's not a matter, again, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And when that happens, it'll probably take down the price of gold and silver and everything across the board. But that'll be a paper trade, and you won't be able to buy gold and silver at that level when it does. So keep stacking where you're at right now. These prices will look really cheap to you one day. Unless you're like 96 years old and you're you don't have a lot of days left here. Actually, I know a 99-year-old guy that goes to the gym, believe it or not, and he presses 150 pounds with his legs. But I digress here. So maybe I shouldn't talk about just old folks. Anybody's day could be up. But if you plan on being around for a little while, these are great prices to buy in at. And let me just add a little caveat here. If you are if you think you're going to get rich off this real quick, and that's your whole point, is for it to double, triple, quadruple overnight, you're in it for the wrong reasons. If you go into gold and silver and platinum and precious metals as wealth preservation, a hedge against fallen currency, and a hedge against bad times, you will be golden, so to speak. So let's move along here. Sorry about the phone. That's across the room. Customers are calling. My crew should be picking that up on the first ring, though. Sorry about that. Let's move over here to a couple articles I saw. This was kind of cool. Ranking asset classes by historical returns, 1985 to 2020. Let me take a sip of my coffee here, folks. Excuse me for one second. There we go. This is kind of interesting. Look at gold. Gold is the bright yellow, of course, easy to see, and then you can see bonds and small cap stocks and large cap stocks. 2020 year to date, that's actually pretty impressive. I wasn't even aware of that. It was the best performing asset year to date in 2020. Well, think about this. 2020, what did I just say about wealth preservation and gold going up? 2020 was a devastating year for many reasons, not caused by us, caused by politicians and media, obviously, but 2020 was a terrible year. Gold performed stellar. It performed way better than, here's a mini example of why you want to own gold. You had one really bad year like this. I think we're in for some more and some different reasons why it's going to be bad, but no less. Look at the performance of gold. 2019, even prior to that, gold had 15.9% return. Of course, stocks and everything were sailing. Where is gold on the chart here again? Let me just kind of point out gold here. There's a yellow one, and pretend this is a chart, and here's my line. I'm going back and forth. It seems to be staying. Let's see, what's the worst year? 2015. Well, yeah, 2015. 2014, 2013. This was after the monkey hammer in 2012. Remember when gold, look, here we go. Gold 2011, 5.5% return. Actually, that's pretty good considering. 2010, 26.1% return. Gold 2009, 20.2% return. But don't forget, stocks and bonds, this is the reason they're so high. Look at the returns on those, is because they were experiencing the bounce after the big fail in 2008. And here you go, 2008. Gold being a big performer at 5.4%. That doesn't sound like much, folks, but look at the rest of the market here. Wow. So if you follow the price of gold here as far as the return, this is a really kind of cool chart. You'll see that it's performed very well, and particularly very well in bad times. Look at 2020. Performance level was pretty dramatic there. Good article here. This is called Ranking Asset Classes by Historical Returns. And who does this? Visual, God, they do all kinds of great stuff. Visual Capitalists, they're one of my favorites. Visual Capitalist does this, ranking asset classes by historical returns. Take a look at it when you get a chance here. Pretty cool stuff. And where is the URL for it? Here, I'll show you the URL up here in my bar. There it is right there if you want to copy that down. And let's move along to, I haven't looked at this in a while, gold to silver ratio, 100-year historical chart. I was looking the other day and I'm saying ratios seem to be a little bit out of whack. Let me see if I can scoot this chart a little closer. Let's see, last 5 years. There we go. And this is about 2020 right here, April 2020, when that gold to silver ratio went up to about, it was amazing too. It's pretty crazy. I think it was an all-time high of 120. What was it, 120 to 1? Oddly enough, I have not found charts that accurately describe the highs and lows. I'm not sure if it's because of log scales or recessions or something like that, or they're adjusting the scales. But silver, this is the highest it shows on the macro trends charts, and other charts are the same. Maybe it was a close. I'm not sure. Maybe it was on a close. But we actually saw a silver to gold ratio that exceeded 120 to 1. I want to say it was 121 to 1, 122 to 1 in that range, but the high they show here is 114.77 to 1. But no less, it gives you a good visual on what was going on. And look, here is your declining. This is gold price declining. Silver price went up. Remember, silver went up to about 30 bucks an ounce. It's backed off slightly to 25. But who was the real? What price came really down that slimmed up that margin was the gold price of a high of over 2,000, and we'll look at that in a little bit too. $2,000 an ounce, which puts us. I'm not sure quite where that's going to be on the chart here, and I think that's a little bit later. But $2,000 an ounce, and you see the price of silver never really changed much. It went, well, it did a little bit, but 25 to 30, not as significant as gold as 2,000 down to the low 17s for a little bit. And again, you see that ratio was falling dramatically until it hit a low in February 2021. But look what's happening now. You're seeing that ratio kind of move up again. Now, this is for a couple reasons, in my opinion. Either gold price is too low or the silver price is too high. And that's the reason why you're seeing a rising, and there's a disparity there between the two. However, I kind of think that the gold prices are too low. So I don't believe silver is going to move much lower than where it's at, quite frankly. And if we start to see silver move up and gold stay in that same range, you're going to see this ratio move up substantially as well. This is just kind of telling me, and my gut feeling says that we're looking at probably gold moving up. And hopefully taking silver with it. But the trend for sorry about all the the trend for the ratio, gold to silver ratio, has been right. Let me look at the long-term chart here to 30. Let's look at all years. Ready? And let's kind of see. Got show recessions, log scale. Recessions are these little shaded areas in case this is the first time you viewed macro trend charts. This is one of the reasons I really like macro trend charts. Look how they show you when the recessions were. And you can line a lot of charts up with those recessions, and there is a correlation there. But the ratio seems to be, in my opinion, again, if I was just to take this since well, we can't really go back this far for the gold to silver ratio. This is pretty. I think we're in times like this again with the gold to silver ratio. But if we were to take from, let's say, 1990s, and let's go back even for the 80s all the way up to date, I'd say your mid-level line is what, right about there, 65 to 1. Let's see here, right about, yeah, 63 to 65 to 1. It seems to where gold's been kind of averaging for its gold, for its ratio. I guess I'd really have to look that up. But no less, what I'm seeing right here is an uptick in that gold to silver ratio from that low of 65 to 1. And I think, again, we're in this area right here. And not to repeat myself a dozen times, I think gold is probably going to start moving up again, and silver will start to climb with it slightly. That ratio will come down a little bit, unless things go crazy again, which is a complete possibility given today's times. Gold prices, 100-year historical chart. A couple things I wanted to point out here as well is actually macro trends. Great charts, by the way. If you're going to look at anybody's charts out here, take a look at macro trends. Again, the only thing I have found is that, I think gold peaked at, what was it, 800? What was the peak price of gold in 79, 80? It was like $800. So when I moved the inflation adjusted, it only shows a high here, and I don't know why it does that at 643, but I swear we were closer to that $800 range in 1980 was the high, maybe even higher. But no less, the graph gives you an idea of, I'll put the inflation adjusted back on there. But take a look, here's your 1980 markets. Adjusted for inflation, that would be currently $2,000 gold today, according to this. And why is that line not? That says 2,000, but the higher line says 1,600. Something weird there. So let's take a look over here, inflation adjusted for our 2012 market, which was our most recent market. Again, 1980, gold high, 2012, gold high, and look at that little dip right there. That did not do this, if you notice that. That's like a, what do they call that, a teacup or a head and shoulders formation or something like that. a handle. I forget. I'm not a chartist. And but take a look at this. We're back in that upstream again, and here we are right here currently. I don't see this happening at all. I see this. This is the correlation, the parallel that I see. I see the parallel between now, right where we are right here, these times is right here. We're at that little dip where we were in the 70s before we hit the explosive 1980s precious metals market. And this applies to gold. Silver was a bit different because you had the Hunt brothers in there. And the Hunt brothers saw the writing on the wall. They saw where gold and silver was going. And the reason that they got into the silver market is because it was a small enough market. You know, with gold, they're competing with central banks. They're competing with you know, huge entities out there. But with silver, the Hunt brothers knew that the COMEX didn't have the silver that they said they did and London did. And this is back in the 80s, okay? Hunt brothers knew that. So what the Hunt brothers did is they went out and they bought all the physical silver supply that they could find, possibly find. They went up and they went to COMEX, and I'm not sure if they went to London, but they went and they bought contracts. They asked for delivery on all those contracts. And obviously COMEX and these guys, they didn't have it. They didn't have the silver on hand because hardly anybody asked for a delivery. And when they asked for delivery, they freaked the living frick out of the COMEX. I'm certain of that. So they actually changed the rules after that. But the Hunt brothers did everything legally to raise that silver market. There was nothing illegal they did. And in fact, what the banks and regulators and everybody did to the Hunt brothers and the media should have been illegal. Those people should be in jail, not the Hunt brothers. Shouldn't have been blamed for any of that. Hunt brothers just called out COMEX and all these people for their chicanery and their corruption and their fraud. And then what the banks did is the banks went in and called the Hunt brothers loans, which that's the reason silver dropped down, is they changed the rule. The casino, the Hunt brothers figured out how the casino worked. The Hunt brothers knew exactly who the players were and how they could win the game. So the Hunt brothers went into the silver market in 1980 and they played the game. They played the casino, and the casino all of a sudden was losing big. They're about to lose really big. So what did the casino do? They changed the rules on the Hunt brothers. They just changed because they own the casino, so they can change it. Just to give you a heads up. So they changed the rules on the Hunt brothers, and that nearly broke the Hunt brothers, and it broke the silver market at the time. However, the silver market was going to follow the gold market regardless, but I don't think the silver went up way higher than it typically would have because of the Hunt brothers. I still think we would have seen $25 silver even if it wasn't for the Hunt brothers, just because of the times and what was happening with metals and why people were buying metals. And I believe the Hunt brothers also brought a lot of attention to the silver market, which we still see today. So I think we're here. I think we're back in that uptrend. And take a look. It's almost just like the gold chart. Look at that. Boom, boom, down a little bit, boom, down a little bit. And again, compare that to your gold chart right here. Ready? Hard to tell the difference there, isn't it, between the gold and silver chart, other than when you look at the 1980 thing. But, you know, all things relative. Let's turn off the log scale there and see how that looks not so exaggerated with the log scale. Now let's take a look at this again. Compare these two charts. Gold price chart. I should do a side by side, but I'm not that fancy with my computer. And then ready? There you go. Boom. And there's that another high, and there's that loop higher. That little valley there, and then another peak. And again, we can look at that just by going to a 5-year chart on gold and silver. I encourage you to do this stuff yourself, folks, because you start to see things. I see ghosts. No, you start to see things. Inflation adjusted, let's turn that off. And that's actually pretty cool if you take a look at that. Now, here's a 100-year, here's a gold chart again, and silver chart. What did I get the silver chart on? 5 years. Let me turn the gold chart to 5 years. Sorry about that. 10-year chart. And do they even have, oh, there it is, 5-year chart. Sorry about that. So that's what we're looking at for 5 years. And let me do a quick comparison myself. Very interesting with the price of silver in particular. Where is it? Gold to silver. Oh, that's the gold to silver ratio. My apology. I was just comparing two charts that had nothing to do with it. And sorry about wasting your time doing that, folks. There's the 5-year. All right, 5-year for silver price and the 5-year for the gold price. And again, that's with the log scale turned off. And let's see how similar these two charts are. pretty similar, just a little more exaggerated here in on the silver chart. And again, that should be. Oh, it keeps plopping back to 5-year. Well, anyway, I encourage you guys to go to macro trends. You can type in gold to silver ratio chart. Again, I was looking at the wrong chart. Sorry about that. And you can look at the 100-year historical chart here. They have a lot of great charts here. And whenever you want to do some looking at charts, I think it's a great place to go. Let me move along from here. Another article I want to take a look at real quick. UA ranks, I'm not going to read this, but UA ranks 3rd in the world for most online search price for gold. India tops the ranking for tracking bullion prices with more than 3.7 million hits a month. You know what this kind of tells me is that Indians, people from India and people that buy gold and store it in their families, because, you know, in India it's kind of a traditional thing. You know, families for thousands of years in India, they've always coveted gold. They use it in weddings, they give it as gifts, and it's really how they kind of store their wealth. So they don't put their money in their bank, especially the poor. They try to hold it in gold. But no less, think about all the people in India. I mean, India is always kind of bagged on as being a poor country, a dirty country, this or that. But no less, think about more people in India own gold than in America and Europe combined, I'm sure, and other places. I mean, almost every household owns gold. And if you think about it, they're probably the smartest people out there economically. They've hedged their bets a little bit. And let's take a look at this little chart. Countries that track gold price the most. This is very telling, folks. Where is the United States on this? Well, we're pretty close. India, at average monthly online searches for gold price, I think that's 3,720,000, and U.S. is right behind it at 2,506,000, and the UAE at 521,000. But here you got to maintain perspective on populations too. UAE is a much smaller. Represents a much smaller country and a smaller population, yet look at the size of that figure, 521,000. And again, India is just a huge country. Very interesting chart, worth the read here. And let's see, UA, kind of not much more than what the graph says there. Pretty cool stuff. I just forgot to show it to you. Another one of these little articles, illegal. This is meant to tug at your emotional, this is not about logic, this is about emotion. And I'll tell you, there's truth to the story and there's lies to this story. Hang on. When you read about this illegal gold mining, threatens a fragile way of life. A lot of these articles they like to show the indigenous people dancing around, doing their stuff, which is really cool, man. There's nothing wrong with that. And these people do get taken advantage of, but it's mostly by governments. It's not by small miners, if you really think about it. So this article is about this particular tribe fighting Amazon gold people and how they've armed themselves, and really it's all emotion and good reading. It's like a story more than anything, but it doesn't really tell the truth. And what I love about some of these articles is they show these mines real close up, and you get the impression that that's most of the rainforest right there. But if you back out on Google Earth, you couldn't even see that as a dot. Some mines you can, and no less. Really, what the governments don't like, U.S. government, and what the Brazilian government doesn't like, and these other governments don't like, is a lot of these little mines are all small little mines. They're not the huge mines that you're looking at here. A lot of them are just, they're people that live in the country, even indigenous people that start their little mining operations, and they get a couple grams of gold a week. But there's tens of thousands of these throughout the Amazon forest that dot the forest, and they're little operations, probably not huge operations like this one appears to be, but maybe not. But no less, they're locals. They're mostly locals, and that's how they feed themselves. That's how they get their money. They're not, and their type of mining is really not going to destroy the rainforest so much. The governments do a good job of doing that on their own. But what the governments get pissed about is they get pissed that they're not making tax monies on that. They want all that money to go through them. And that was the big deal about when Elemental went down with NTR out of Miami. When NTR took them down for buying supposedly blood gold out of Central America. I forget where it was, Peru or something like that. But it was all bullshit. It was, they made a big deal of how it came from miners that were destroying the environment, and that's really not true at all. You know what they don't like is they don't like that it went through Central America to the United States, and none of the government entities got their greasy little greedy hands on it. That's what it's really about. It's all about taxes, folks. Nothing to do with the Amazon rainforest, except when you talk to Gabriel Chaim, who has swallowed that narrative from the government that that's what the real trouble is indeed. Well, let's move along to Zero Hedge here. Not a lot to talk about. And again, this right here, continuing claims plunge, you can look at that as is why gold and silver, just one of the many reasons why gold and silver are going to continue to go up in value. Continuing claims do plunge. That's because you can only, how many claims can you make? Once you've gone through your claims, you can't go back and do it again. And just because the claim is ended doesn't mean that person found work. So that's a very misleading thing. But and it says right here, almost 13 million Americans remain on the dole. Sadly, none of this adds much confidence after the ADP disaster to tomorrow's payroll print. We got a payroll print going on tomorrow. I wonder what that means. Let's take a look. We'll see tomorrow. Payroll print. Well, if the payroll print's higher than they expected, you can see gold and silver probably get monkey hammered tomorrow. So it might be a good time to buy. If not, if payrolls are kind of devastated, but it's weird, it'll be on a Friday. I have a feeling payrolls are going to be about par or a little bit better than expected. That's what they'll say. They'll monkey hammer gold and silver because of that. That's already in the works probably. But if not, if payroll isn't that good and they can't spin it, then you could see markets up a little bit as well, or about sideways. Nothing really good here. I don't know how that plays out, but I don't know, man. I don't think you do that to the people that work for you like that, especially the people that fight for you. You don't mandate certain things. Future rises ahead of claims. We were talking about the crazy world when a Weber Grill IPO was like billions of dollars. We thought was a 9 billion or some crazy number, but it I guess that went from sizzle to fizzle, so not much happening there. Robinhood tumbles after insiders file to sell 98 million shares. Yesterday I was talking about Wall Street bets, and that is not, what people think that's organic. That's a bunch of small traders, and it is a bunch of small traders, but they're not doing it on their own, folks. I'm telling you, there's some heavy manipulation of the Wall Street Bets group of these small traders. They're working for the man. They don't realize it, but they are. They're working for some man. I shouldn't say man or woman, but they're working for some whale. Then they absolutely are. There's some whale or whales directing that large organic group to go where they need to go. And I don't think they realize that. That's just my opinion, of course. But aren't we all directed? Aren't we all painted narratives from the time we're born? This guy needs to go, in my opinion, as well. But I'm not going to go into that. Hurt slumbers are in a difficult. Let's talk about markets here. Global house price boom, broadcastsense.com. Man, housing pricing is just insane. I don't know if the rest of you folks that live in this immediate area that are listening right now, my local peeps, but man, the numbers are just insane what a single family costs down here. I think a nice single family home down here is anywhere from $400,000 to $700,000 in that range. If you want a nice neighborhood, about $500,000 for a 3-2 on a small piece of property in a cookie cutter neighborhood, it's just insane. Condos may have gotten a little cheaper because of that collapse deal. You might be able to pick up some condos for a good deal. So from what a local real estate guy told me recently, but I digress. I'm not in the real estate market. I like this guy right here, Mr. Paul. I hope he runs for president. I'd certainly vote for him. And he's absolutely right. And this is my opinion as well, folks, for what it's worth. A good read. You should take a read at this and see why. I'm not sure many people realize this, but the senator is a doctor and was trained as such. And, while he may not know that particular field as well, he knows his stuff. UK warned, again, not too much in gold here. We could read that, but we already know what's happening here. And Biden approves Taiwan arms of sales to Taiwan. China tensions. This is a black swan event as well. If China decides to step in and go into Taiwan, what are we going to do? Are we going to fight? Are we going to go and send troops there? I don't really know, but I do know that'll send the world into turmoil because that whole region and that whole waterways, there won't be any shipping going in and out of there. That's a huge black swan potentiality there. And These not so much. It's just, this is upmanship. I think the Russians are using the same tactics we used on them back in the 80s, where we kept building better weapons and their country went broke trying to keep up with us. I think they know we're close to that brokedness, and they're just trying to ratchet it up so we spend more. That's just my opinion. That's how we broke the Russians at the time, the Russian government. Broward County, this isn't my town right here, and actually this is a very interesting thing, but again, nothing to do with gold and silver. GATA.org, no new articles on here that I could really see. Robert Lambourne talks about Biz Gold swaps fall in June by 46 tons. I'm not going to read that. It's very technical. However, as I've said, if you're for you guys that listen to me all the time, fast forward about 15 seconds. But if the first time listening to me, GATA.org is, if you're a stacker in gold and silver, you must have these guys on your bookmark bar up here, because these are the guys that will tell you who the manipulators are, how the game is played, who the players are, and once you know that, once you know all that stuff, like the Hunt brothers did, you're set up to win the game until they pull the rug out from under you. However, I don't think they're going to pull the rug out from under us when gold and silver starts making its next plateaus, which we're going to see. So no less, if you're new to this, you need to have this on your website. It'll tell you how the markets are manipulated, and once you know that, man, you had a big advantage for sure. Let's move along to yesterday's video, because again, not much to talk about GATA this week. Precious metals news is very quiet, as you can tell, because I haven't been spending too much time with ZH or GATA, and I have been looking around for articles, but again, very quiet. Maybe it's just the summertime. Yesterday's video about internet dealer goes down. I was talking about an online dealer that went down big time, and you can watch that video. Let's take a look at some questions from yesterday real quick. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and I'm going to take my coffee early, Mr. Matthews, here before I get to your... Sorry about that silence. It must seem like forever on the other side when you're listening. Wow, lots of comments from yesterday, and I'd like to thank all you folks, and I'll kind of blow up your names there a little bit, blow up your names. I'd like to thank all you folks for watching. Not in Florida, country back to mask. Yeah, we're just talking about that, Mr. Crompton. I kind of agree with you. Deep Tail, thanks for watching. I really appreciate that as well. The look downs, God, they are beautiful, aren't they? They are angry looking little fish, like old angry men, but they are pretty cool looking. Silver Highway, I agree 100%. Monkey Hammer is really good for stackers right now and people that are putting metal away. Until that metals explode, just keep stacking, and if you can buy the dips, do it. Great. Thanks for watching, Highwayman. Hey, Joey, what's going on? Heart of Texas. Wait till, yeah, can't argue with that, sir. Own nothing to be happy. I like that name. Oh, nothing to be happy. Or it's got a question mark there. Interesting. To be boring is better not to be at all. Thanks for watching, sir. Heart of Texas, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. The coin guy, maybe I'll check him out when I get a chance. Him Han says precious metals and Olympics. Yeah, it was kind of my little conspiracy theory yesterday that maybe why all the gold and silver channels across the board, not just mine, are getting low views. Maybe it's because they're trying to put gold and silver medals, Olympic medals, at the top of the search engine. But again, that was just a crazy conspiracy thought on my part. Heart of Texas, great info, Brian. Thank you for watching, sir. It's nice to see you. Super Genius, what the hell happened? Yeah, I ask myself that every day, sir. But I know. You know why I know? Because I read GATA.org, and those are the guys that'll tell you what the hell happened. So Justin, thanks for watching, super. Justin, yeah, I agree with you. Again, we're talking about viewers and stuff. I'm kind of just looking for some questions here. Eric, glad you get your coins. Zipper Fixer, thanks for the, appreciate you watching there, sir. Daddy says that my local bullion dealer happens to be one of the best online sellers. That's pretty cool. So you got him right in town. What is negative? Because of small size of sales floor, they're always busy environment. Yeah, but they're local, and again, what I like about that, even if they're an online entity, and even especially if they're an online entity, is that they're in your area, and that money is going to be spent in your area as well. Thanks for watching, Daddy. I appreciate that. Thank you, folks. Jeff, I think you're 100% right as well. Luca, nice to see you there. And no worries. Yeah, I'm trying to educate people. I'm trying to, just like you said, I'm here to teach you how to fish, not to give you a fish. I like that kind of analogy. Thanks for watching, Cloudler, and all you folks here. I really appreciate it. I hate to skip over names. Do you think spot price will go down low like 2020 if lockdowns come again? I don't think lockdowns are going to happen. I think that governors across many states like Florida is not going to put up with lockdowns, period. They're not going to happen here. They're just not. The governor's not putting up with it. And I think most of the residents here in Florida are not putting up with it. So, when you get to a point where people just say, fuck you, I'm not complying, excuse the language, but it's true, then their power is pretty much over. And really what we need in this country is more people to say, F you, we're not complying. Not to smart stuff, but to the idiocy, to the stupid things, to the things you lied to us about. I think people are getting tired of that, and that is the truth, as Mental VO Ward says. Wayne, thanks. A good deal for buffaloes there you got. And Jacko Forney, Michael, all you folks here. Brand was saying, as a buyer, I was talking about credit cards, using credit cards on bullion, how risky that is for dealers and such, because there's return privileges and stuff like that. So I would never take credit cards, but I can absolutely see, Brand, why you would. That's a wonderful deal. You get 1.5% back. So the bar that you might have paid a little bit more than a local guy, you still end up doing okay with 301.79. Credit cards. I like buying. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. I like buying from local coin stores too. Again, keep that money local, Brand. Thanks a lot, Celeste. Nice to see you. Richard Lauderdale got Newsmax. Yeah, I don't watch any corporate news. That's what I was talking about yesterday. Maybe I'll take a look at them. Triple-digit silver is on its way. Thank you, sir. Thanks for watching. And I don't think the shutdowns are coming again, Ben. Not here in Florida. Not too many questions were related to what I talked about, and of course you know me, I have to acknowledge as many of you as I can. Thanks for watching again, and let's just move on to best deals. I'm going to keep this real short and simple. I think best deals out there are generic 1-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars, and 100-ounce bars. 90% is in that group too. Those would be your top 4 items in my thoughts, and you should be paying no more than $3.75 per ounce for any of those products. I got 100-ounce silver bars for $3.25 or less over spot. Those are the best deals out there, in my opinion. I wouldn't buy stuff that was any more. Don't pay a big premium unless you have to. And as far as gold, same thing. Gold bars are still the best deal out there at spot plus 80. And if you're buying quantity, you get them less from me for even less than that. The next best deal out there is probably going to Krugerrands, are around 90, 95 over spot, and Maples, which are probably in that $95, $100 range. But still, even for $10 or $15 a coin, I'd rather own gold bars. However, Krugerrands are looking attractive now, especially at this price. As far as Eagles, overpriced still in my book, but they have come down a lot at $125 over. Hey, that's really about it. I found this cool little meme here. Shop local, resist the power of the dark side. I advertise to beat the APMEX JM SD bullion. I am a local business only, so if you don't live in my area, you cannot buy from me. You'd have to come here and physically come to my store to buy from me. However, I encourage any of my listeners out there that don't live in my area to buy local. Please find a local coin store. Now, I'm not saying that the dark side is APMEX JM or SD bullion. In fact, I think they're good companies. I think they're solid. You never know. They are until they're not, but they seem like good companies. And those are who I advertise to beat or meet prices with locally. I'd rather have people spending money in my store, even if I made a tiny bit less, than shipping the money outside the state to online sellers. Plus, the other thing you get with a local coin store, if you can find a good one and a good local dealer, is that you get personal face-to-face service and advice. You cannot get that from the online sellers. You're just another number to them, an account number. So that's why I advise you guys to go out and establish a good relationship with a local bullion dealer, local coin dealer. Well, that's really about it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime between 10 and 4 Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out with your questions. And that's really about it. Another video done. Hey, thanks for watching and listening. Talk to you tomorrow. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. Thanks again. Bye.